Hey guys, it's Aunty Chardonnay, and usually if I'm getting ready I have a glass of Chardonnay, a little pre-gaming if you will, but since it's noon I'm going to try to keep this straight for you guys. Essentially I'm guessing this will be primarily for the ladies who are pretty broad fans, but it might also give the guys a little insight into all of the tricks of the trade that we use. Yes, we do not look amazing and glamorous always when we wake up unless you're, I don't know, Jessica Alba or something. But basically, since having been in front of the camera, having to learn a lot of tricks about, how to disguise your flaws, how to accentuate your features, basically I feel like until I was probably, I don't know, 2 years ago, so until I was probably 27, 28, I think I really didn't know how to apply makeup correctly. I just knew a lot of the basics, and that's not going to do you much good. So I wanted to do a video to show you some of the, tips and tricks I've picked up along the way so far, and to just give you some insights. I honestly thought for so long that all these girls were just hotter than me, and some of them are for sure, let's be honest. But actually, after having spoken to a lot of girls who are like promotional models and hostesses and stuff, it's just, there's a lot of tricks, and I definitely think it's worth it to pick up a few of them here and there. Now, there's also a bunch of tricks for hair, which is why I kind of left my hair like this. It's disgusting. I'm going to do another video about how to make your hair look amazing. And guys, by the way, my hair never looks like this. Like, I put on extensions, I do all these things. It's really a sad world for men to live in because they just have no idea what they're getting into half the time. But nonetheless, let's get started. Okay, so first I want to, you want to put your hair back so you have the best access to your face. So I always recommend doing your makeup first. And then getting your hair together, and then always try to get dressed before you put your hair on because you don't want to mess it up. So this is one of my fun favorite little things that I got from, I don't know, Amazon or something for 12 or 15 bucks. It's some sort of, I don't know, Asian robe of some kind. I use it to cover up my clothes if I'm wearing any. If I'm not, I just kind of, put it on when I'm around the house. But it just makes you feel like a classy bitch. Have a Chardonnay, put on a silky robe, suddenly, you're like a total glamorous wench from whenever. But in this situation, I'm just going to use it to protect my clothes from loose powder. Okay, so one of the first things that I discovered upon watching a million YouTube videos about putting on makeup is primer. So basically everyone, oh wow, I just got back from Barcelona, so things are like jizzing everywhere. But basically everyone uses primer. I'm not 100% sure if it actually does anything, but I will tell you this, it feels amazing. And from everything I've learned in my life, even, from day one from my mom, like wear sunscreen and moisturize your skin. Especially, I live out here in Sin City in Nevada, maybe some humid climates, or if you have like super oily skin, it's less essential, but the function of primer is supposed to be to keep your makeup on longer and to make it go on smoother. It covers up all your weird crevices and such. But for me, I just never want to not use it because it feels so good. Sorry, I'm dropping things. It just feels good. It smells good. So I'm using this kind from MAC, from their Prep and Prime collection. I get 30% off. You can, I hate to say this. I'm on camera, so I get it, but I think a lot of people could get away with getting this 30% off by basically saying like you're somehow in the makeup industry or in front of the camera or something along those lines. 30% off is an ass ton of money. It has saved me so much, although it's also made me like pretty much only have MAC makeup, which is what also inspired me to do this video because I ordered a bunch of other shit that was on sale from Sephora where I got a bunch of cheap palettes, and I'm excited to get out of my MAC world. So one of the keys to putting on makeup that I've learned now in my old age is to use brushes. So you carry all these oils and dirts and things on your hands, and you don't want to be touching all over your face with your dirty hands. And also, your skin is super sensitive, and tugging on it, pulling on it, like using the kind of pressure that's going to come from your hands is just not ideal. It's way better to use a brush. You can get cheap brushes, but I'll be honest, there are some brushes where it makes a big difference to have a nicer, more expensive brush. Some you can get away with not, I think there's a lot of things that you can kind of choose for yourself, but I will say, I think a brush like this, this is like a foundation brush basically. I don't know if it's the most important thing to spend the money on. I think if you're going to spend your money on a brush, and we'll get to that later, but it needs to be what you're going to use probably for blending in your crease of your eyes. So we just put this kind of everywhere, and I clearly, because my thing just came from Barcelona, it like exploded all over my hand, so there's way too much. But it's SPF 50, and it doesn't smell. I don't understand how they do this. All the lotions and stuff I have that have SPF in it smell like shit and burn my eyes, and this is just like cool, and it feels good. Another, tip and trick I've read, like if you're tired or you didn't get enough sleep or you drank some the night before or whatever, not that I know about that, it really helps to rinse your face with cool water in the morning before you start doing any of your makeup routine, like maybe even before you make your coffee and stuff. Rinse your face with cool water and, make sure to give your eyes a little extra dabby dab, and it's supposed to make the swelling go down in your eyes. Of course, there's a bunch of other tricks to that, but that's definitely just a fast, easy way to do it. So this is like one of the running jokes. You also have to take care of your neck. And like I remember I had this lady who lived in my basement for a while who worked for Mary Kay, and she said that when she worked at JCPenney's, she used to have these old ladies that would come into the store and they would just buy Dickies, which I don't know if you guys know what those are. I'm pretty sure that's what they're called. Dickies? Basically, they're like turtlenecks, but it's not the whole turtleneck. It's just like around your neck, and then it like comes in here. But you wear it under other shirts to give the illusion of wearing a turtleneck. And apparently, like a lot of ladies who are growing much older now didn't take care of their necks in their youths. So their skin, maybe they've got facelifts or whatever, their skin on their face looks great. Skin on their necks is disgusting and reveals their age. So you want to treat your neck just the same as you treat your face, and also your chest right here. A lot of women get like really wrinkly and gross right here, so you want to, try to take care of it. Now, when you do apply lotion, another trick I've learned when you're touching your face is to use these fingers instead of using these fingers or whatever other fingers you think you're going to use. Using the ring finger makes you more gentle on your face, and there's also certain motions you should use. And maybe I'll do another skincare video at a certain point, but like when you're touching your eyes, you always want to come in. You always want to, like if you're putting on eye cream, you always want to go into your eyes like this instead of out, because you don't want to stretch your skin out this way. And then when you're coming on the rest of your face, there's also certain motions out from the eyebrows like this, out like this, over like, there's coming down your nose like this, then in your eyes. So you can like develop and after a while, it's super awkward at first, but it'll become second nature. And I think I'll do some kind of skincare something for you guys. Now, one thing that I do that a lot of people don't do is I will use this, it's called Beauty Balm. It's essentially a tinted moisturizer. Now, if I'm just going out to dinner with Heath or I'm just going out in the world, to be honest with you, a lot of times I don't wear makeup. But if I want to give, the illusion of flawless skin without doing much, I'll use a tinted moisturizer and then just use a concealer. Put like, some bronzer maybe on my cheeks and toss a little bronzer on my eyes, and it looks phenomenal and takes 5 minutes. For the purposes of this video, so it doesn't take an eternity, I'm not going to put it on, but I definitely recommend everyone having a tinted moisturizer in their case, in their makeup kit, and to use on the day-to-day. It's just good for your skin anyways, why not? So, this is something I haven't tried yet, but everybody brags about it all the time on all my YouTube videos. So, usually what I use are... It's called Face and Body Foundation from MAC. This shit is amazing. It's so thin, it goes on so light, and the whole function essentially is that you can layer it. So if you just want a light coverage, put on 1 coat. If you want more dramatic, put on 3. Like when I'm on camera, I usually put on 3. I have one that's more yellow, one that's more light, and the point is that you can essentially like contour your face by using 2 different colors instead of using just 1 color. I think I'll make another video someday getting more detailed into like a really specific face routine. I don't want to go too bananas on it now because I think it will make everyone crazy. But I am excited to try this Makeup Forever. Everyone says, so this is Makeup Forever HD. Everyone says this is amazing. Now, I of course buy shit online because I'm too lazy to go to the store and I'm never 100% sure if it's going to match my skin. So we will see. I'm just going to put this on my hand and squirt out a little bit. I probably squirt out too much. I always think I need more of everything than I need. So there's several tools for applying your foundation. This is kind of the old school way, what I just used to put on my primer, but you're going to get kind of streaks and other stuff. Now, there's these two kind of brushes, which are dual fiber brushes. There's, you know, a soft kind of powdery material here, and then there's like a lighter one here. Now, this gives a really just kind of light, nice finish. So you can dab on a little bit and then kind of like rub it in and circular it in, and it will really give you a nice, light, easy finish. Now, one of the things people have been going crazy about lately is these beauty blenders. This one's from MAC. The original one I've heard is way better, and it's definitely bigger. I think if I could go back, I would probably do that one. And to use this, you get it a little bit wet, like wring it out, get it a little wet, moist, and it feels so good to put stuff on your face with this. It just is like a little massage for your face. Now, for the purposes of this video, I'm probably just going to use this to dab in my concealer because I don't want to get too high tech for everything. So for now, I'm just going to use a light dual fiber brush to give kind of a basic, easy, and we'll see if I got the right color. So first you just dab it everywhere, and then you kind of like get it in a little more. Oh my gosh, I think this is way too light for my skin color. Fuck. It's super white. I think sometimes I overestimate how light my skin color actually is. I'm super white, right? Like, whenever I see myself next to other people, I'm like, wow, I'm super white, but I guess I'm no, like, redhead or anything when I look at, yeah, I definitely got this too light, but that's okay because different looks require different things, so maybe if I'm doing a more dramatic white kind of look, then this will work. This is a really light coverage. Huh. I don't know, we'll have to see. It may work out. After you kind of bronze and contour and put all these different colors and things on your face, you'd be surprised how much you can cover up and change and adjust, and it's actually pretty amazing. I mean, when I realize like how I look now and when I see photos of myself now, maybe I can put some of that on pretty broad so you can see like how I used to do my makeup when I started this job, and just you can't believe how many people are like, holy shit, Sarah, you look so good. And it's like, hey, I'm getting older, I shouldn't be looking better. But I am, because I'm learning these tips and tricks. And then I think, God, if I had known this shit when I was like 22 and I was actually smoking hot still, I could have definitely saved myself a lot of misery, especially when I was living in LA. Like, all the girls are actresses, and they've all like had people do their makeup professionally, so they all know exactly what they're doing, and I think I definitely was at a disadvantage. Actually, I do think I like this. It definitely makes my skin paler, but I like it nonetheless. Ooh, I don't know how it looks on camera, but okay, so we're gonna get into the fun stuff soon. Now, one thing that I love and that I usually don't put on my foundation first. I usually do my eyes so that then we can go in and cover up any like fallout from our eyeshadow. But I'm going to do it this way for now, and then we'll see if we have any fallout, we can go back. So this is something that I'm loving, and apparently there's a bunch of like cheaper version drugstore brands of this. Like there's one from L'Oreal. I'm going to do a drugstore thing, like go to the drugstore and just go bananas soon, but I went so bananas at Sephora that I kind of got to take a break. I am trying to plan a wedding. So it's a highlighter pen. For most people, yellow is going to look better under your eyes because it covers up dark circles. This is like the Kim Kardashian how to make your shit pop under your eyes thing that everyone's going crazy for. And everyone's saying, okay, so everyone's saying that this is, so you basically draw a line down from your eye like parallel to your nose, and then you make like a triangle back up to your eye. Now this one's kind of long. You can make it a lot shorter, but this is a really light coverage. If you're using like a regular concealer or one of these other kind of products that are more, like if you were using something more like this that has a more strong finish, then you're not going to want to go as far down. But this is just a really light highlight. And basically, for me, I have really bad under eye circles, so I want to be highlighting under my eyes like 50 million times because my shit it shows up really bad. If you have really dark under eyes, when you're on camera, it shows up really gross. And so I think that from what I've learned, it's look up the color wheel, and then you're supposed to sort of judge for whatever color, you know, your skin is, you want to do kind of an opposite thing. So For example, if you have a red blemish on your face, you want to use a green corrector or a green concealer. And then blues, you're going to want to use like the yellows. And I think it has also to do like if you have a pink face or a yellow face. And I think I have a pink face, but someone told me I had a yellow face, and that's why I got this particular foundation that I just used from HD, which I think was wrong. I actually think I should have got whatever I need for pink face people. But anyways, so usually I wouldn't be putting this on with my fingers, but I'm putting it on with my finger because I want to save some time, and things were drying because I'm talking too much. Okay, so you kind of look like clown face at first, but I promise you just go with it and take your time, and you will not look like clown face in the end. So one of the ways to make sure that you don't have terrible fallout under your eyes, if you're going to do a dramatic kind of smoky eye, which we are, is I take like a translucent powder. I don't always do this. You can also just take like a wet wipe after you get fallout and wipe it away, but this is like super cheap, like NYC. I think this is the kind of shit that's like $2, you know? It's just a really basic translucent powder, and I would say translucent powder is one of the things that you can just not spend an ass ton of money on, and it's not going to make a fucking lick of difference. It's just easy, basic. It's an easy product to dupe, as they call it. So I just put some of this translucent powder under my eyes like this, and then that way when we want to, if any fallout from our shadow gets on there, we can just, it will easily swipe away. And this is just a super cheap drugstore brush. I'm sure this is one of the brushes that I should spend more money on, and I did. I just did a big order from MAC, and I got something that's like dome shaped so that it will fit in my eye really easy. And that was from, oh shit, I'll have to look it up, but it's like this actually kind of cheap brush store. I was really surprised how cheap it is because everyone says that these brushes are actually really good, and they were way, way, way cheaper than what I was finding on Sephora and MAC. So I'll try to post up something about what are the most important brushes to get for ladies. Gosh, and I'm already at 17 minutes. This is crazy. Okay, so one of the other things that I never really knew about that's super important, if you're going to go to the club or you're going to go out to a wedding or even just to work, it's like if you want your eyeshadow to last a long time, you have to use a primer. So we had a primer for our face, and now there's a specific primer for our eyes, and it's going to make the shadow stick on super good. So there's a bunch of different styles and types, and it kind of depends on what like look you're going for. This is one from NARS, which a ton of people love. I ended up getting it because I've seen it in so many videos. It's called Smudge Proof Eyeshadow Base, and it just has no color basically, but it does the same trick. This one I don't know. It like has opened, and I had another bottle like this that kind of cracked on the bottom. It totally broke out on the bottom, so I don't really like it as much, but this is an Urban Decay primer potion, and this one is in kind of a yellow color. It's called Eden. So I use this when I'm using like a lot of neutrals because it neutralizes the eyes. And you can, if you have like veins and stuff you can see behind your eyes, which I do, this base just gives you, all these bases give you such a nice starting thing to go from. This is a really cool one from Urban Decay, and this is the other bottle that I had of this potion looked like this and broke, but I liked it enough that I bought another one in this kind of bottle, which I way prefer, and it doesn't break, and you have more control, I think, with it. It's called Sin. So this gives you kind of a glimmery, like champagne color under your eyes, which I really like for if I'm doing something more, you know, I even sometimes put this on for just my eyeshadow. Like instead of wearing eyeshadow, I just put this on and it'll last all day and it'll keep your eyes covered. Then this is something I just got in one of my other little cases, and it's also an Urban Decay. So you can see like the Urban Decay is super, super popular. There's one other one that's really popular too. I think it's called Naked. Anyways, I just got this as a sample. I think I might try this one today because I haven't used it yet, but I got it in one of my Urban Decay palettes. So we'll see how this one comes out. Alright, yeah, so basically you just want to get this on, and they usually dry really fast, so this is another thing where you can just use your finger. I usually like to use a brush, but some of them dry so fast that it actually helps. The warmth of your hand actually helps to spread the product. So I'm not sure which product color this is. I kind of like it. Seems like it doesn't really have a color. And then usually I'm pretty much always going to put some kind of color underneath my eyes. So I like to put like a really thin little layer of this primer under my eyes to keep the eyeshadow from coming off under your eyes also. And I just keep like double checking under here that everything looks legit, that I'm not messing up all my eye stuff. I really still can't decide, like this lighting, it's so hard for me to tell if I look like a clown or what. Okay, so once you have your primer on your eyes, this is when we get into the fun stuff. This is when we like decide what we're going to do for our shadow. So one of the things I decided to go for, because it's something that everyone can kind of do, but it's dramatic and crazy. And so this would be like your clubbing eye, or I don't really club, but just like when you're wanting to go out and look smoking hot, like maybe this is your anniversary date or something where it's like you're going to risk it and be kind of dramatic. So it's going to be some kind of smoky eye. Now, there's so many different things with a smoky eye to keep in mind, but some of the tricks I've learned will totally change you from looking like a clown to looking like a hot mama. And I'm going to do a smoky eye. Basically, I bought this palette only because, well, it was on sale, so whatever, it was only like 15 bucks. But there was this one color in it, this one here, called Loaded, which is like, I don't know, it's this kind of like greeny blue dark. I'm going to put that in my smoky eye, but you can put anything in your smoky eye. So we'll build the smoky eye, and then if you want to put like a pop of purple, a pop of cranberry, a pop of, there's a million different choices, you know, gray, you want to put a glitter, like whatever you want to do to kind of make yours unique, totally up to you. One of the things I've learned for blue eyes, purples and kind of maroons look best to complement the blue, but you can definitely, we'll make another video, or I'll just link to some videos that talk about what's the best colors for your eye. You want to kind of be opposite the color wheel. Everything with blue and like green, warms are going to look good, so neutrals, it seems like, oh, I have a blue eye, so I should look good with blue. Actually, blue doesn't look that good with blue eyes. Green doesn't look that good with green eyes. Those colors look better with brown eyes, but with these color eyes, you know, blue and green, you look best with neutrals. So warm, like almond colors, yellowy colors, just browns and stuff. It seems like that wouldn't be smoking hot, but it is. Everyone can wear a smoky eye though, so we're gonna go crazy on a smoky eye, and this isn't a color that's particularly attractive on me, but I don't give an F. So one of the ways to keep a smoky eye really dark, and this isn't necessary, but you can get tons of drugstore brands that do this, that it just helps to keep the darkness underneath and helps to start building. So one of the biggest things with eyeshadows is what we're doing is we're building layers. And I think that's one of the biggest mistakes I made in the beginning was when I was doing my eyeshadows, I was just trying to make things look good right then. Well, you don't have to look good right now, you only have to look good in the end. So this is it's called a paint pot from MAC, but they have a shit ton of things like this now that you can just get anywhere in a drugstore. It's basically just liquid eyeshadow, which you can also get like eyeshadow pencils and stuff like that. So I'm going to start by just doing a base on the lid of my eye of this. I'm wondering if I should put my other little mirror right here so you guys can still see what I'm doing. So I'm just putting, and it doesn't have to be perfect by any means, it's just a basic base of black. And you can also do this with your neutral colors. Like I have one that's kind of like a beigey natural color called Painterly Pot, and sometimes I put that on just to use as eyeshadow or to use as a base, but it's just like a natural color like my eyelids should be if I don't have, now see, this is like a distorted mirror. I need a non-distorted mirror. To cover up though like all your blemishes and things in your eyes. Some people have not as much of this, like Christy for example, with her Asian eyes, like her eye color is just, the color of her eyelids is the same all the way across, which is so nice and makes it so easy. But I have such thin skin on my eyelids and under my eyes. Not only am I probably gonna like have horrible wrinkles, but it takes me a lot more work to start from just a really basic kind of base. So we just put this on our eyeballs. And the cool thing about, I mean, I know a lot of people do these tutorials and then they fast forward everything and keep it going fast, but then I always end up just like pausing every 2 seconds to stop and catch up. And what I like about some of the tutorials I watched in the beginning is they were just doing it as they were going, and I think as a result then you can follow this tutorial along and stay caught up without having to, you know, pause every 2 seconds and fast forward and only do, you know, I only do one eye, so you have to do one eye and back and forth. So we'll see. If you guys want me to do it a different way as things go on and progress, like I can absolutely do that. This is just more or less like a trial run to see, to help you bitches be hot too. Okay, so we've got the crazy base going. Now, what we're gonna wanna kind of start doing is this is one of the brushes where, I don't know, I have a feeling you could get away with using a cheaper one. I just bought like 3 kind of brushes that I thought would be the essentials when I first started, and this was one of them. It's a MAC 2, I wash my brushes every time, so I'm not even really sure. But it's just a basic like flat eyeshadow brush. Now, do I think you could probably use a cheaper one? Yes, I definitely think that at this point. So now here becomes the question. Gosh, trying to do this on my table, I'm spilling shit all over the place. So one of the things that I want to do is cover up this black. So I'm looking at all my new shadows and seeing kind of what I'm thinking would be a cool one. Okay, let's do, so this is from an Urban Decay palette. Now right now, if you go on Sephora, they're having a sale on all these Urban Decay palettes. This one was literally like $10. And I got a bunch of them that were only $10. And that's an amazing deal for getting this many eyeshadows and a great way to like start a collection without having to spend more than 30 bucks. So I'm going to use this one in the middle called Zero, which is basically just kind of a matte black color it looks like, but it looks like it has a little hint of green in it also. And that's going to help tie in with, I think, what we're going to put in later. So I'm going to take this Zero on my brush, and I'm going to start by putting it in the outer corner, and that's a good way for us to kind of gauge how it looks, make sure we don't get too dark in the actual corner by our eye yet. So, gosh, this eye, it's so much brighter because of the window over there and the light. It looks so much better. It's definitely something I've learned, like having done my makeup in a million hotel bathrooms and stuff, it makes a huge difference, your lighting. So we're just basically, and this is one of the things that I've learned that's a nice trick, is instead of spreading like this, you want to pat. Pat your makeup on your eyelid, literally just like this. I'm not taking it and spreading it, which causes it to be uneven and also causes you to lose pigment in the product. Just patting it on. Makes it easier to blend later. So you tend to want darker colors on the outside, and this isn't always, of course there's exceptions with lots of different dramatic looks, but you tend to want darker colors on the outside, and then you want to create like a gradient getting a little bit lighter on the inside. So what I'm probably going to do is take the flip side of this brush and use I'm just going to look for a kind of gray, and right now I'm using just matte colors because I think it's easier to, oh look, there's a gray in this palette that I kind of like. So it's not that much lighter, but if you can see in this palette, it's called Mushroom, and it's just kind of a lighter gray version. So we'll put that right over the black, more towards the corner of our eye. And so you can see right now it's not blended very well, but that's fine. That's what comes later. And we're gonna put a color in the middle anyways, so don't worry if it doesn't look good right away, it's fine. And any colors you use on the top of your eye, you kind of want to leave out because a lot of them we'll probably use to balance the bottom part of our eye also. Okay, so now before we put in the pop on the middle part of our eye or anything else, I want to start working on what we're going to put in the crease. Now this to me is one of the absolute biggest things that I learned, and if I could say to anyone to get any product or anything, it would be to get a MAC 217 brush. This is the nuts brush I've ever had. It makes doing blending in your crease so effing easy. I told Christy, like I've told so many girls, and once you get this brush, it makes putting on your makeup so much effing easier. It's ridiculous, and it just does so much of the work for you. So since we have such super dark here in our eyes, you know, one way we could go is to keep like just doing a lighter gray, you know, and or even to do like a super dark corner and kind of lead that in. But what I'm going to do is something that I had never thought of doing before I had done a lot more work on the whole makeup scene is I'm going to take a super neutral color. So my favorite neutral to use from MAC, which I'll show you guys how. If you get one of these palettes, which this is something that I taught Christy too, you can fit an ass ton of makeup into one palette and take it with you. So for traveling, for me, that's been a huge key. But also, you spend a lot less. When you don't buy the pots, I think the pots are like around $14 or $15, but the palette refills are only $8. So you spend $15 or $20 on a palette, and then you can buy these little circle eyeshadows from MAC for only $8. It saves a ton, and it saves a lot of space also. So this is kind of like my neutral palette right now. And the colors that I think everyone should have are soft brown, which is this one. And that's just the most amazing crease color for anyone ever. And then this is one that I like to use just above the crease and kind of blend it towards my highlight. It's called Quarry. It's like a little bit of a light purple color, but there's a ton of colors, and I'll hopefully do more videos and talk to you about what are the best colors from here. The absolute best highlight in the world is called Mushroom. If I could just, maybe I'll just make a list of like my top 10 essentials to get. Like if you're gonna go to MAC and spend $100, this is what you should do. But since I just got this was like a $10 palette also from Sephora. I just thought it was kind of cool looking. I'm gonna try this one out. It looks really similar to soft brown. So I'm going to do this as a crease color. So basically, I'm just going to take this 217 blending brush, and I'm kind of an animal. Like sometimes I put on way too much, and then I have to do a lot of extra work to highlight. But basically, normally you want to start with like a little swirly motion on the side and then go forward. But because this is such a different color than my actual color, I'm not going to do the swirly motion on the side. I'm just going to go straight in there onto my crease and start blending it in. Now, one of the things that you will notice and realize as you do this is a lot of things just fix themselves. So at first it's kind of scary and you're like, whoa, this doesn't match at all, this looks terrible. But as you are just taking the brush back and forth, adding product, taking it back and forth, it just naturally kind of blends things for you. And one thing I also know that I didn't know before is I used to use stuff with my eyes closed, but you're only going to see your makeup for the most part with your eyes open. So while I close it every now and then and just double check I don't look like a freaky monster like that, you primarily want to be doing it with your eyes open. And because I'm trying to do a video, I'm not doing this ideally, but usually you want to be looking down a little bit. It gives you the most space on your eye to work with and to deal without wrinkling. Obviously, the position I'm in is not ideal at all, but whatever, we'll work with it. So, starting from the edge, working our way in, and you definitely want to stay more on the outer edges at first because you don't want to drag a ton of color. As we mentioned, towards the inner corner, you don't want to have a ton of color. You want things to be lighter and brighter there because that's how your natural eye would be. So, yeah, I actually really like this. So you can see how you would think that to go with a black, you would want a more black or blue or something color, but actually the brown makes it look really cool and really natural, and it's just a really nice way to make a more wearable smoky eye and to create kind of a nice effect, yeah, to make you just feel more normal. So now that we have kind of that idea, something that I just ordered another brush for this kind of thing, but what
I'll just use our flat brush. I don't want to go bananas for people who don't have a ton of brushes. But so in this same palette is just a super matte black. We're going to try to take that again on this flat brush and just add it to the corner. And the same over here. Just add it to this corner. Oh yeah, and this has way more pigment than the other black we used, so I think I went a little bit too crazy with it, but we can always fix it. So the more you add things to the corner, the more smoky your eye is going to appear, and the more cat-like your eye is going to appear. So if you have really small eyes, it's maybe not as good of an idea, but for super round eyes, always creating like a cat-like shape is going to make your eyes appear more almond, which is nice. And so this is one of those scenarios too where actually I almost brought over wet wipes, but I didn't. So we have a bunch of dark there right now, which is probably a little bit looser. So I'm just going to take this 217 that we used before, and we're just going to blend first a circle in the corner and then blend up. And we're going to try to keep it just below that neutral color that we popped in there. And they're going to mix together, but it's awesome. It helps to mix the dark into the light. And it just creates a heightened cat eye on the outside. Yeah, so I definitely like this. And then one thing you'll definitely find yourself doing a million times is going back and forth and re-adding and making sure the colors are still popping, making sure that everything is blended and that there's like a solid kind of nice gradient there. So another thing is that, so we did this kind of soft brown color. Then to make the soft brown color fade in, there's a bunch of MAC colors I would recommend, but basically I have this other brush from MAC, which I would say is probably my second or third favorite brush, especially since I've tried a lot of other ones. It's the 224, so it's the step up from the 217. You can see the 217 is shorter, the 217 is a little fatter. This is a softer, longer, thinner kind of version of the 217, and that's why I like it to grade out the crease. So since it's just here and it's easy, I'm going to take this kind of a little lighter version of our other color, and I'm just going to swoop it all over the place. Like, I'm just going to be really loosey-goosey with this. It's such a nice natural color. We can add in a highlight later. Not a big deal. It's just to help it seem more normal, this brown color in our crease. Okay, super sick so far. I like where we're going with this. Then I want to pop in that color I was mentioning that I love. So I'm going to take the flat brush again. We're using so many dark colors, it's fine to just keep using the brush. It's not a big deal. It's not going to take away from anything. So I want to pop in this green kind of just in, or this, it's really a super, super dark green black color. And I just want it in the middle. A lot of times if you just put a color in the middle, it really opens up your eyes. This is such a dark look already. I don't think it's going to make a huge difference, but say you put like a little goldy glitter color or something in the middle, it's really going to call the attention to the center of your eye, which makes it look more open, especially when you're using a lot of dark colors. So there we go. I think that looks awesome. Some people might want to, like, I don't know, make it more using more brushes or whatever, but I just like to try to keep it as simple as possible. Now I want to add some color on the bottom, but first I think it's easier to talk about this. Now this is one of the other keys that I didn't know about that I think help a ton, and it took me some practice to figure this out. Even on all the videos I watched, no one was giving the right advice. So this is just like a fat eyeliner brush, but you can use any eyeliner. So everyone knows how to line their waterline. I'm sure if you haven't done it, it's basically just putting eyeliner on the inside of your eye on the bottom. Don't pull your eye down. A lot of people do that. I mean, I guess you can, but it's definitely never, as often as you can avoid tugging on your eyes, the better. If you just look down, I mean, if you turn your head down and keep your eyes up, it gives you just as good of a angle to stick this underneath. Now, since most people probably don't have, or a lot of people probably just don't have a fat eyeliner at hand, I'm going to take a more thin one. Now, this is what I didn't know about that is awesome. So you also want to align the upper part of your waterline, which is called tight lining. Now, this is really painful at first, and it took me a long time to figure out a trick to do it. So if you just try to do it, your eye will just be like, no, and immediately like respond poorly. But what I've learned is this is how I do it. I just start on the right corner, and then I like look away, like roll my eye up, and then while I'm rolling it up, I just bring the eyeliner across. I guess it's kind of hard to explain, but maybe you can kind of get it if I'm doing it. And it helps to kind of blink a little bit. I don't know. And I come from each corner. The middle is the hardest part. So you want to like try to just meet it at the middle. I have seen so many people do this so easily, and I think maybe I just have really sensitive eyes, but it makes such a difference. Like leaving the top one without is, I think, a huge mistake. Another way, though, in the beginning when I was having a hard time tight lining the upper part, I would just use a super wet liner on the bottom and then do it really quick and then close my eyes really hard so that I was trying to get it from the bottom to the top. And definitely a good way to do that would be to use a liquid gel liner. And you can buy these at the grocery store too, but like to take a liquid gel, line the whole part of your bottom, and then immediately try to close your top, because that will probably make it go pretty quickly on there. Okay, so in fact, I'll probably use a liquid gel here to just show you how to use it and to show you it's an awesome tool, and it's probably, when I'm putting on my eyeliner now, I use it 80% of the time. Okay, so we're going to put a little action on the bottom. Now, I just ordered some new brushes for the bottom. I basically right now just have this pencil brush, which is a 210, I think, by MAC, but it's super fat, and I find that it leaves me a lot of fallout. So since I have a lot of gray and black and all this already on my flat brush, I'm probably going to use that for a little bit. But to start, I'm just going to take this brown, the same neutral brown that we used in our crease, and I'm just going to kind of put that all across the underneath part. It's just going to make it less dramatic for when we put all the grays and darks underneath, having a little bit of light to start. It's just like what I was saying before about layering. You may not see it super dramatically, but it's just nice to have a little bit of a gradient there. And everything, I think, will end up being kind of smudgy anyways. But so then we're going to take this, the color that we initially put all over our eyelid, not the kind of like liquid eyeshadow, but the regular one, and I'm just tapping it around like the outer third, basically. And you can see it's going to create a pretty long and fat layer of shadow underneath. But you just want to be gentle, and I'm just pushing it. Again, if you're going to be swiping, you're going to be getting a lot of fallout from the shadow. But if you're just tapping, then the pigment from the shadow is just going to adhere to all your primer and all your other stuff. And then I'm trying to connect it to the part that we have here on the outside already. So this part only went in 3/4, as we talked about. And then we're going to want to put a little bit of actually the matte black. So I'm using the super dark pigmented matte black, and I'm just going to stick that in the very corner where it connects here. And same on the other side. So this is again another way to make it more catty. Catty, is that even a thing to say? And it's going to connect the bottom and the top together more fluidly and more naturally. Not like this is natural at all, but now another little tip and trick is what I was mentioning about highlights. So I go back and do this in a couple different ways, but I like to do it more towards the end. A lot of people do it in the beginning, but then I think it goes away. So I'm just going to use this pencil brush. You might want to wipe it off a little bit since it has a little of that natural brown. I'm going to use Mushroom, which is this. It's kind of a champagne-y. Since most of our look is matte, I'm going to use one kind of more shimmery color, which is this. And this I'm just going to put up here on my highlight. This is your eye highlight, just directly underneath your eyebrow. Now after I do my eyebrows, I like to go back in and fix this again, and you'll see that later. But before we mess up this pencil brush, I'm putting in a little highlight here. Now a lot of times when I'm doing a dark look like this, I'm also going to want to put a highlight in the corner here. And then it will definitely fade in, but you'll see it pops open your eyes a little bit. This is definitely a super dark look, so we don't want to just have no dimension in our eyes, which open them up. And my eyes are kind of close together anyways, so I want to open them up a little bit more. So that's just like a basic smoky for the shadow part. And then another step, and this is one of the things that I wanted to show you, is this gel eyeliner, and probably lots of you know about this. I really didn't, so I was really excited to discover this whole gel eyeliner scene. Now I have a bunch of like gel eyeliner brushes at this point, and I just got a new one, so I kind of want to try that and see how it goes, but there's a lot of choices. This is an angled brush, which can totally help you if you're not used to doing a cat eye. Definitely helps to make that part easier. I'm going to probably use it on my eyebrows today though, so I'm not going to use that. Now there's kind of like shorter, fatter ones if you want thicker lines. Then I have like a super long, skinny one, which helps a lot, especially in the beginning, so that you don't make big mistakes. You can do a lot of small pieces to keep it easier. And then this is the one I just got. It was only $5. It seems a little shorter than my other one, although I actually am thinking it's like way more similar to this one than I thought. Yeah, it's like basically the same thing, so I don't know what the hell I was thinking. Of course, I was like, oh, it's $5, let's do it. I'm an idiot. Alright, so this is liquid eyeliner. This is called Black Track from MAC. I've heard there's a bunch of other awesome ones. I definitely want to try. HD's Aqua line or something I've heard is awesome, but since I get a discount on the MAC, I've just gone this route. I do find that it dries out pretty quick, though. This is like my second or third one, and I don't know. I definitely want to try something else because I feel like I might be missing out. So far, I'm not sure how I feel about this brush. It's definitely doing it kind of weird. So putting on eyeliner, the best way to do is look down, and it helps you to see like a more clear version of your eye. Instead of like doing it in the mirror like this, you want to try to look down at yourself. And most people start in the middle. I tend to think that's also the best way. Start in the middle, and then kind of just take it towards the outside. Now, I don't know what is going on. I think this brush sucks balls. Now, this might be where I kind of veer off and don't finish all the other eye, because eyeliner just is kind of a pain in the ass and takes a long time. So, then I'm going over to fill in the inner part, and you want to try to get way thinner on the inner part for the most part. With the exception of some kind of dramatic looks, you usually always want to be way thinner on the inside and then get thicker on the outside. And then I like to build my my little like outer corner piece last. I think it's the hardest, and I just like it. Now with the smoky eye look, it's so easy because you basically already have your outer corner. And everyone's eye shape is different, so like doing cat eyes and stuff, it's just different for everyone. Gosh, it's so dark you can't really see. Every eye shape is different, so I just do the line on the outside how I want it, and then I bring it in to color it in. But eyeliner is just one of those things where you have to practice a ton and you have to work with your own eye shape. Now I just fucked it up. You have to work with your own eye shape to figure out what works best and what's most flattering on your own eye. Now, like I did, just mess it up. Usually I have wet wipes, and if you just wipe the wipe around your finger and go like this, you can just create like whatever shape you want. Really helps for fallout too, for the most part. Yeah, so I really don't like that new eyeliner brush that I got at all. Goes to show you get what you pay for sometimes, but, and this is just a Sephora brush, which, yeah, now I will definitely say I do not recommend. Still, I can get it done. I can get a cat eye. I can do the interior of the waterline again, like a double up, because this is such a dramatic look. And because then we can make it more smoky. So, if you can see, I'm going to use the brush to fill it in. Close it, so maybe we can get a little extra on our tight line. Then I'm going to take the pencil brush we've been using, and if I just kind of rub it along, it's just going to make it a lot more smoky and look more like it's naturally coming out of our eyes. Yeah. So we're smoking it out. We're making it so pretty. And then, gosh, I know it takes me so long to get ready. Now I see why it takes me so fucking long. So, one of the also most important tricks ever that I ever have learned now is eyelashes. Now, they're super annoying and I don't like them, and I basically never wear them unless I'm going out or I'm working. But they're an amazing trick. And I made the mistake of getting super cheap eyelashes the first while that I used them from Amazon. I got like 70 for, I don't know, $15 or something. And it's so much harder to work with super cheap ones, and they look so much worse. Like, you feel like the Chiquita Banana Woman. So I did a little bit of research, and I think like kind of in the middle of the road, some that I really like that work really well for me are Red Cherries. I like Ardell's. You can try a bunch. Basically, if you just go to Amazon or anywhere else, beauty stores, you can read a bunch of reviews. There's a lot of them. I have some, and I have tried some MAC ones, but I've actually started to feel like I think they're not as feathery, a lot of them, which makes them look not as natural, which I don't like. And then I've also made the mistake of buying some that are like this. I was like, oh, when I'm wearing like a really smoky eye, that'll look cool. They look like, I feel and I look like a clown when I use these. But I might actually use them today, just for fun. Yeah, let's do it. Why not? So, basic gist of the whole eyeliner deal is, I mean, I was thinking eyeliner because we have to go back and kind of work in some extra eyeliner to make it work. But buy some glue. A lot of the eyelashes you can get at like Walgreens and stuff come with glue. I only would say if you're going to do it every once in a while, just buy them from Walgreens. But they're more expensive there. So if you think you might do it more regularly, I recommend getting them online. But Duo is like basically the most common eyelash glue. I like it. It works great. I prefer, and I recommend to everyone, this one called Dark Tone. You can get a clear one, but then half the time it just looks like you have jizz in your eye. So I recommend Dark Tone. I'm never going to be wearing eyelashes if I'm not wearing dark eyeliner anyways, for the most part. I just think it works best. And then there's a million different kinds of tools. Like, you can trim them with little eyebrow scissors. A lot of people like to put them on with eyelashes. I've kind of found there's these little tweezer things that come with these Kiss eyelashes that I got at Walgreens one of the first times. And I tend to feel like these are the easiest way for me to get them on, but it's up to you. Just, you gotta try a bunch of things. And the truth about eyelashes is the more you do it, the easier it gets. But I'm telling you, if you buy really cheap eyelashes, it's so hard to get them on. It's just so annoying. And so in all my trials and tribulations with eyelashes, here goes. Let's see how hard it is for me to get these ridiculous ones on. So you just pull them out of their case. I'm not super careful about it. I'm definitely just not that type of person, so Then, since I haven't really worn these since my Michael Phelps interview where I looked and felt like a clown and I had pink hair, I'm just going to kind of like look and see if they fit on my eye. And they do. So I don't have to trim them. I usually don't trim them because I usually fuck it up when I do. So you just take the lash and then you put like a super thin layer. I like to squeeze the glue out first a little bit and then just rub it along the edges. And depending on how fat the line is on the end is kind of how much glue I'll use. And depending on how much glue I use is how long I let it dry. When I'm using really thin eyelashes, I don't let them dry for very long at all because they dry super fast. These ones are kind of thick, so I'm going to hold it out for a second, let it dry. This is another mistake I made when I first started putting eyelashes on. If you start putting it on right after you put the glue on, you're going to move everywhere, and then you're going to get glue all over your eye, and you're going to mess it up. And I definitely made that mistake. So I think this is why I really like these pink tweezers, is it kind of like puts them into a bendy shape already instead of like trying to push them on with just tweezers. But again, it's super important to be looking down so that you don't put them like in front of your eyelashes. So you want to get them behind your lash. And I push down in the middle first along my lashes. Yeah, it's not working. Great. Just keep trying. And then I'll go to the outer corner and push in. And then, I can't tell if you can see. Sorry. This thing is really low. And then go to the inner corner and push down. And the inner and the outer corner are the worst, but the truth is if it's not like lined up in the center, it doesn't matter if the outer and the inner corner are down because it'll look like poo-poo anyways. Wow, yeah, I'm having a really hard time. Usually it's not this hard. And yeah, so sometimes I will bust out the tweezers and try it for the littler parts. Usually the best thing to do is get it where you want it and then stop touching it. It will glue down. It will stay eventually. And I think the mistake I made with these ones is being too premature. I think the glue wasn't quite tacky enough. So I definitely got on there preemptively, but it's fine. They ended up working out, and that's part of it. Like after a while, after you've done them more times, you realize that you can fuck up a little bit and it's not going to be a big problem. God, these eyelashes are just weird. They're so big and so dramatic. Heath will enjoy it for one night. He can appreciate my dramaticness. So after I put on a lash, I like to make it look more like it belongs with some liquid eyeliner on the kind of ledge of where the eyelash is. This will, if there's any glue, this will camouflage the glue and it makes the tacky part of the eyelashes look like they're just part of the eyeliner. And you don't have to do this, but I use kind of a thicker, fat, like some kind of fat liquid eyeliner. And then I have this like one skinny pencil that I've hardly found any use for anyways, that I take the skinny pencil and I put it on that very interior part and just like lay it there so you can't tell where the lash starts and the eyeliner begins. We're almost done, guys. Wow, this just, no wonder it takes me so long to get ready for work. Okay, I think I'm getting over a cough too. It's like really bad. So I use two shadows. You don't have to use two shadows, obviously. I mean, two, what am I talking about? Two mascaras. So I got this one mascara, which is it's called False Lashes from MAC. And it's not very dramatic, and I kind of have fine eyelashes anyway, so I usually never wear this on my regular eyelashes. But when I wear falsies, I use this. I never take the mascara when I'm wearing false lashes and put it all the way up, because this part will often touch the top of your eye and you don't want to get mascara up there. So I just put the mascara on the base of the lashes, and I more do this, like, these lashes are black. There's no, they don't need mascara. I put the mascara on to keep the natural lashes and the false lashes together, basically, so they look more like they come out of your eyes. And for girls, like, you're never going to look at someone with fake lashes and be like, oh yeah, those look so natural and good. But guys have no idea. I've done so many interviews where I'm like, oh, I feel like I'm wearing, like, you know, bats on top of my eyes, and guys are like, oh, those aren't your lashes. Wow, I have no idea, but it's true. So I put those away. Now it's time. The eyes are the most fun part, but there's two other things that I've learned that have just totally changed my makeup perspective, and one is about eyebrows. I never did my eyebrows before because I always thought, like, I have great eyebrows, or I would, like, fill them in just a little bit. Do not be afraid to go hella dramatic on your eyebrows. You think it looks crazy, but I promise you, after you do it, it looks amazing. But I do my eyebrows last because I don't want to get powder and stuff in them after I get them all fixed up. So I'm going to finish my face routine, and then we'll go on to the eyebrows. So I guess I should leave a bunch of this out because I still have to do my other eye. And what I'm going to do is I'm not going to do my other eye right now on camera. I'm going to go back and do it, and then I'll have both the eyes, like, in some photos, or I guess maybe I'll edit this video. We'll see. So one of the keys that I've also discovered is concealer. Concealer is amazing. So after we've done all this shit on our face, basically I have this amazing concealer from MAC that's called Studio Fix something. There's a bunch of different kinds. I dropped it when I was in Barcelona in the bathroom, and I love it so much I didn't want to lose it. So I put it inside of this empty lotion thing that I just happen to have. I'm going to have another version soon. There's a lot of different kinds of concealer. I bought this brush. It's like a thinner, it's a goat bristle brush. I thought I was going to use it more for Up in Her, but I've ended up using it more for concealer. But since I told you I was going to use the Beauty Blender, I'm going to show you a little something something with the Beauty Blender today too. So I'm sure we have fallout. Actually, it really doesn't look like we do, but I think that's because my lighting is, like, absolutely fucking terrible here. So, and I should have done the eye that's, like, closer to the light. I don't know why I did this one. I just go for the right automatically. So brush away any fallout in case you do have any. It really doesn't seem like we have much, which is a shock, but that's because we have so many amazing products. So now we're going to do a similar type thing that we did earlier, which is create a triangle of concealer here. But we're going to do it a little lighter and a little smaller. Now this is like the uber Kim Kardashian trick. This is like how you make your under eyes look like they're just popping out of nowhere and you, like, just woke up and everything's bright and sunny. Now something I really like to use lately is the blender to blend stuff underneath your eyes, because otherwise I have, like, wrinkles under my eyes, so I get these places where the concealer sticks in the wrinkles, and that's calls even more attention to your wrinkles, which is all you're trying to cover up anyways. Well, I'm trying to cover up dark circles too, but so I use the Beauty Blender under my eye to brighten up my eyeballs and fix any blemishes and mistakes that I've made in the process of applying. You know, like, if you do a really dramatic long cat thing, if you just put some concealer underneath your cat, it definitely makes it look more you know, finished and polished and precise. And with the Beauty Blender, you just, like, pat. It's crazy. You just pat. You don't swipe or push or rub, because then you're just going to mess up everything you've already done. Just pat it in. And at first I was, like, swiping underneath the eye because I was like, how can you not do something under the eye with fucking it up? But I realized if you look up, you give yourself ample space, your eyelashes kind of tilt, and you give yourself plenty of room to fix it up. So I'll fix the other side of my eye in a second and then come back, but we'll finish this part. So I like to come back in with a little bit of that translucent powder that I mentioned, the really cheap translucent powder, and pop that to keep the hold on what you just put in on your concealer. So translucent powder has no color, but we are going to use a little bit of a colored one later. Now, for those of you who don't know that much about highlighting and contouring, that's an area you want to conceal and highlight. Now, here are some other areas that you want to highlight. The line on your nose like this little bit of your eye. Now, you can highlight a little bit here. You can highlight on your chin. A lot of people like come up here to a T. I find the primary thing, hormonally, a lot of women get red right here in the corner of their nose, so you want to take it. So I'm just basically highlighting with concealer right now. We'll go back with an actual highlight later, but the more you do underneath, it's just like with the shadows. Like the more you layer, the more things look natural, and the more layers you have to combat, you know, when things start melting off your face and when you start sweating and whatever, it's like, oh, it's cool. You still have a bunch more safeguards against looking like doo-doo. So one of the contouring things with the nose is like my absolute favorite, because my nose has never been my favorite feature on my face. I've always felt like it's a little bit big. I think based on the fact that rhinoplasty is like the most popular surgery in our country, it definitely shows that a lot of people are not particularly happy with their nose. So I'm going to show you this contouring technique in a second, and you'll see you can make your nose look a lot thinner. So kabuki brush is kind of like a standard thing to have in a kit for makeup. I'm going to take, now this is like not a translucent powder, this is MAC's, what's it called? Blot powder. So it's just a loose powder that's meant to take away kind of the shininess. Basically, like all your eyeshadows and all this stuff makes your face kind of shiny. So I'm just gonna blot it out. And there we go. Now, because I want to actually show you like a full-on contour, I guess I'm just going to pause and do my other eye real quick, and then I'll come back and do the rest. Okay, so basically I've done my other eyebrow over here, and I've caught this eye up so my faces are kind of more even. So first I'm going to do contouring, highlighting, bronzing, all that nonsense, and this makes such a difference. Had I known this forever ago, I mean, I can't believe it when I see photos and stuff, especially like from your profile, it's unbelievable. So I basically have a, whoa, yeah, they don't all like fit in here super good, I'll be honest. When I travel, they get a little bit messed up. But basically in here, this is like a bronzing powder, like it's meant to, or I'm sorry, this is a contouring powder. It's meant for contouring. This is a bronzer, which people use for a lot of things, including contours. These are both highlights. Then I have a bunch of blushes and stuff. So what I've started doing, and actually I just got this new product, so I'm just going to like try it and see how it goes. So this is some kind of stick, Charlotte Ronson. Apparently Charlotte Ronson's like pretty cheap. And I'm pretty sure her sister was dating Lindsay Lohan, Samantha Ronson, just like a DJ. Not that that matters, but I'm just going to take, you could use what you use to put on your primer, you could use what you use to put on your foundation, you can use just like a sponge like this. I might end up having to use the sponge. You can even use your fingers. So this is just like a stick, and on this end is a bronzer. Or I'm sorry, what is it called? Like, I think it's a no, it says it's a bronzer, but it's looking pretty dark, so I'm guessing it's a contour. So the places that you want to contour are going to be the places where your face is naturally darker and where you have like hollows in your face. So I'm just trying this. So far it's really not pigmented at all. Not what I expected. But so I start from the outside, which of course is going to be the darkest point usually, and points where your hair kind of is going to cover up. And so this part You don't want to forget to add like a little curve. It's weird if it's like a total straight, so it's kind of a Nike swoosh. Then this is part where most people wouldn't realize your temple has a natural indent in it. And then kind of the whole exterior side of your face is usually a good place to contour. I like to take it really strong from there underneath your face. And in fact, I'm just going to use a little bit of powder to show you. One of the things, like if you're having a dramatic makeup like this, you can then even take the contour or the bronzer like all the way down on your neck. So when you're in pictures and photos and stuff, this line looks really defined. I'm really into a super strong jaw, so that's just something that I'm into. So you're going to do that on both sides of your face. I'm just kind of switching to this because I know it and it's easier and it'll go faster. And more people are likely, I think, to have a powder than an actual contouring. I mean, this is kind of unusual, but you can get a lot of this more liquidy type stuff from tons of stores also. So I'm taking it down my chin, creating the illusion of like a super strong jaw. I actually have a pretty strong jaw already, but I always want to make it like more dramatic. So a little in the temple, and then all the way around. And then like for more natural looks, when I don't want such a dramatic and defined contour, I'll sometimes take something like this, which is just a short kind of hard blush brush. I didn't even use this forever because it came with some other blush that I didn't use that frequently. But sometimes if I want to make it more natural, I'll just put some blonde or bronzer on and then just make it more large, this particular part and all around the face. So it's just a more natural color and blends more easily. So the best trick about contouring ever, which is what I alluded to earlier, is contouring your nose. So this is a way to make your nose look extra thin. Kim Kardashian was like the master of this. So I put a sort of more dark brown right here on the tip. So that's why I'm back in my contour powder again. And I put it right here on the tip. So that's the point I want to be the most, like, you know, like Paris Hilton, like a little pointy. Her nose job was pretty good until she got the second one. Then you just take it kind of all the way from this natural. You can follow like where your eyebrow would go down all the way to your nose. And this is something that will get easier. And also it seems really weird at first, but I promise you don't notice it and it looks amazing. And then, you know, sometimes also when I'm doing a more natural look, I'll just take some bronzer and bronze the sides of my nose. So it's like a more gradient, more, it just slenderizes it in such a nice, simple, soft way that no one would notice except for other people who are into makeup. So for this look, since it's such a dramatic eye, I really don't want to have a dramatic blush. So I would probably use like one of these more muted ones, which it's so funny. Like you think, oh, blush, but actually like these are colors that I use pretty frequently. They come off really natural, really pretty. If you guys are interested, I can make some lists of the essentials for all these different pieces of your face. But since I haven't used the other side of this little thing yet, I just kind of want to see. I might look kind of like a clown at the end of this video, but it's fine. I'm just in my condo anyways. So I think this is actually a really cute color, but it's way too dramatic for what we're doing. Let's see. Let's just pop it on. So you want to do like primarily the apples of your cheeks. But something else I've noticed is you're not smiling all the time. So you want to make sure that it's like you're blushing a natural kind of place on your face that also is going to look good when you're not smiling. If you end up with like these two, you know, Raggedy Ann circles in the part of your face, then it's not going to do any services to you. And you want to, you know, make sure, I'm going to just take kind of a regular blush brush and maybe even this out a little bit so I can make sure it works in with my bronzer. It's definitely more dramatic than I would go normally with this kind of makeup, but whatever, it's fine. We're just doing it. We're just showing you all the keys. Now, highlighter is what you always want to do to counter your contouring. So there's a lot of different kinds. I've tried a lot of different kinds. This is a liquid, like a wet version called Pearl. It's like, I keep saying liquid. It's cream. These are creams. So this is a cream version. This is like a really popular NARS version called Albatross. Really pretty, really basic. I think I'll probably, since I just put on cream, everything else, I'll use this cream. And I might even just use the same brush that I've been using on the other stuff. So you want to highlight where the light would hit your face and where you want things to stick out. So contouring where you want them to stick in, highlighting where you want them to stick out. So you want your cheekbones, of course, to stick out. So I do like a nice sort of basic line just above my blush and kind of covering that top portion of my blush. Sometimes even I'll put like a little bit under my eyes, but you don't want to put too much there. Then you put a line, same where we were putting that concealer before. Now, a lot of people do like up in here, but I don't know if it's just the way I come off on video or what it is, but I like get shiny here a lot, so I usually won't put any there. I'll put it here. Putting it in your Cupid's bow is supposed to give the illusion of making your lips look bigger. And then also, so if you want like really dramatic, like if you're doing a really natural eye and you're having a really strong face, you can put highlight right here also. Something I just discovered on a video that I really like is putting a little bit of your contouring or a little bit of a darker color just below, wait, where's my contour? Oh, here. Just below your bottom lip. I used to have a piercing there, so I'm definitely not wanting to call attention to that little dot there, but this actually creates the illusion of a more pouty lip, which is super nice. And then, so now you have all your highlighter, all your other stuff on. Looks great and glamorous. The only thing that I like to do after this is these are highlighters. Supposedly these are highlighters from MAC. I like to use them to cover up my face after I've done all this stuff. So I've, you know, highlighted, I've contoured, I've done all these like little bits and pieces, and my face, I think, just to make it kind of all seem more together and to also to make it be a similar finish. I like to take a little bit of, like this one's called Natural, it's called Soft and Natural, I think, and it's a mineralized powder. And I just put this like gently all over the face. There I have a matte one and kind of a more shiny one, and this is just to give me a little glow and a little, you know, pull everything together without having to put powder on. You usually want to put powder on to set everything, like anything creamy you want to put powder on to set. So this is like a little pseudo powder. It gives me a little shine. Now for the eyebrow. So I did the other eyebrow, and you can see it looks so dramatic. Like when the first time I was doing it, I was like, ah, this is so scary. But I promise it looks great. No one ever notices, and it makes your eyes stand out so much better. It makes your face just seem more angular, and it pulls all the looks together. Now if I don't have my eyebrows done, I feel not together. So I just ordered this whole eyebrow kit. It hasn't come yet. I'm not sure how much that will change my routine, but I'll update an eyebrow routine. This will just be like my massive makeup thing, and then later I can go back in and do like 10-minute versions of just bits and pieces. So I just brush this shit out with an old toothbrush. I keep them pretty, my eyebrows aren't that crazy, so they're pretty much, I do like crazy, you know, hair tweezes and stuff every now and then. I trim them sometimes, but they're pretty much not that crazy. As I mentioned before, I take this angled brush, and I like the angled brush from MAC. This is a 266. It's hard bristles, and it's a very thin brush. So for me, I have fine eyebrows. It helps me keep control. This is some drugstore palette that I got probably when I was like 20. I don't even know. I'm sure it doesn't exist anymore. It's called Stylish Smokes. But this is just a dark chocolate color. A lot of people use Omega, Swiss chocolate. These are different colors from MAC that seem to be really popular. But I use this dark chocolate color. And you want to start on the outside and just start drawing it in. I like to use powder. Sometimes I add in liner also, but I think powder works the best for me and gives me the most control. So you want to start with the outside, and then you want to do this dark powder again on the bottom part of the whole thing. This is the outside and the bottom are the parts that you want to be the darkest. Then I take the brown again, the dark brown, and I create like a kind of line, like a stamp on the bottom of where the hair starts, so that it's kind of clear and defined. And then I can brush that up a little bit. Okay, make sure you can see me. And then I take, it's a little bit thicker, softer, like an Eco Tools super cheap brush. You don't have to switch brushes. I've just been trying this lately since they're different colors. And I'm using this like more orangey kind of brown. I have like orangey reddish colors work fine on me. I really don't know if you can tell the difference. Sometimes I use all the orange, sometimes I use all the brown. I really don't notice the difference, but I'm just going to do it here to show that if you use two colors, you want the lighter color then to go on the upper part. So I did that whole line on the bottom, and now I'm going in and filling in the top and the rest and kind of moving around all the shadow to make it full and have everything blended. Yeah, I like him. It looks really good. Then just so, I don't know if you guys could see on the side, but you want to make the end, depending on your eyebrow shape, it tends to usually be you just want to make it just a small bit longer than your actual eyebrow. In this case, I really didn't make it at all longer than my other eyebrow, but you want to usually have the corner of your eye go to the end of your eyebrow, and then usually from the end of your nose here, the side of your nose should be where your eyebrow starts. And then your arch should usually be like halfway across. I have a really hard time making the arch. I really want to make my eyes more arched, but I've got to watch a million more tutorials. So just to match the other eye, I've got a kind of dark brow pencil. This is Coffee from MAC, and I'm just going to show just what you can do with the liner. Is you want to use it on the outsides, especially to make it a more clear line and to help build a more distinctive arch, if you're into that, which I definitely am, and if anyone has any extra tips. But basically I just build like a little piece right there on both of the brows. Then I go in, I have two shades of what I think it's like called brow mascara. Is that what it is? Brow Set. These are both from MAC. I have like a light one when I'm doing natural looks, and this actually is lighter than my natural brow shade, which I think you probably shouldn't do. It's kind of like an impulse buy, and I actually like it. Like adds in, it looks like I have multicolored brows, so sometimes I actually really like to use this one. I think it gives an interesting thing. It's like dyeing your brows. And then this is more like what my color of my eyebrows naturally is, and this one's called Show Off. This one's called Girl Boy. That's weird. Although, to be honest with you, like a lot of transvestites, I watch a lot of their videos, and like they do some amazing makeup stuff. I have to say, I've been super impressed. Like maybe Girl Boy is an homage to some amazing makeup artists. Okay, so I put in this brow set. This is just gonna keep your brows from moving around and primarily from you messing them up yourself, like touching your own eyes and touching your own brows. Sets in a couple of seconds. This is something, I really don't know if it does anything, to be honest. It's called like a Fix Finish, Studio Plus Fix Spray, like from MAC. I don't really know that it does anything, but I just love how it feels. It's like the same thing as primer. It's supposed to make it stay. You can also put it on before you start. Sometimes in the morning when I just want it, like I put it on before I start my makeup. Today I felt fine and moisturized, but you spray this on your face, kind of just gentle, and it's supposed to keep your makeup on longer. There's so many products that are meant to keep your makeup on longer. Now, I just got, so this is the lips, and then we're done. I'll go over to the window so you can kind of see the full look. I just got this thing from Sephora. I don't know. I feel like I should recommend this to everyone. I haven't tried it all yet, but it was $60. And I've never been much of a lip person. I have really small lips, so especially like the top one's small. But I just did this reality show thing, and the girl who did my makeup was like, you have an amazing Cupid's bow. Like, your lip shape is so unique and pretty. So I started thinking that I wanted to be more, I want to highlight my lips a little bit more and be more confident about doing things with my lips. So I got this lip, not that I don't already have lip stuff, but I got this lip package. It's $60, and it's like all these different, so you have like all these pinks, or I think these are, whoa, shit, meant to be like neutrals. Actually, I said pinks, but you have all these neutrals, and you have all these reds, and pinks, and purples, and so you have like all these various versions, like dramatic one, not so dramatic, muted, light colors. I'm so excited to try out these. Now, obviously, with this kind of super dramatic eye, we're not going to want to be doing a super dramatic lip, but I will show you some tricks that I've learned. Like, since the reality show, one of the things this woman showed me with my lips, and actually I usually would use like a super, super neutral color. This is called Subculture from MAC. This is like a super, super neutral, and you can barely see it on my lips. But just for the purposes of this video, so you can see how I'm going to line, I'm going to use like a little bit pinker, more dramatic lip liner. This one's called Pink Treat. Highly recommend lip liner. I never was a fan. I never really used it before, but basically one of the biggest things it does is keeps your lipstick from bleeding into the rest of your makeup and onto your face. And for being someone now that has had to do a lot of videos, wearing lipstick all day, definitely I notice my lipstick will bleed if I don't wear eyeliner. It's also a great way to create an underlayer, so once your lipstick wears off, you still have some color on your lips. I'm not going to create a full underlayer with this. I'm just going to do the liner just to show you guys how I do this line. So I guess I should get in like kind of close, huh? So if you can see my Cupid's bow, I'm going to go above and I think everyone knows the trick, like go outside of your lips, but really go outside of your lips. Like, I guess I was always just doing a little bit on the edge. I watched another video too where the guy was like, if you want bigger lips, like just don't put in your Cupid's bow, just go straight across, which I had been doing, and I actually think that made my lips look worse. So it's really, you can see I'm really accentuating that part of my lips, but that's the prettiest part of my lips, so I should be accentuating that. I don't know why I wasn't doing it before. And just being bold and being not afraid to go a little outside the lines. Also, this helps me cover up my piercing here. And I don't know if you guys can see, but I had 2 piercings here that kind of have turned into freckles, but I've had a lot of piercings on my face that I'm always kind of trying to battle, including this one. I chipped up my teeth on the inside. Every dentist has to comment on that. Hey bro, I was 16, I know. I wouldn't do it now. Okay, so for the purpose of this video, I just did the liner. I look kind of like a cholo now, that's awesome. But to be honest, I would do a really neutral lip with this look most of the time. I would use probably Shy Girl or Hue or some lip color from MAC that's like super muted, like a muted pink or a muted tan. And then maybe like a little gloss. But for this, let's just go bananas. Let's try, since we did that kind of brownish color on our crease, which also, by the way, is something that someone said in a video that recently that I really thought was good, is like after you put on your eyelashes, sometimes things change. Sometimes your eyes look a little bit different. So sometimes you have to go back in and readjust. Make your crease look a little higher. Make your things, you know, your wingtips go out a little bit more in the corner. Like, you have to adjust sometimes. That's something I never really felt comfortable to do, but I've realized, like, maybe now, to be honest, I would put this a little bit higher now that I have these super dramatic lashes to make this soft brown go up a little further and be more in your face. I'm really not sure. Like, there's so many awesome colors. This is just really hard to decide. So that would be like a super neutral that I would probably use with this look if I hadn't put that pink kind of color already on my lip. Man, it's really hard to decide. So let's do, this is kind of like a muted pink. Wow, it's really little. So we'll try this. Yeah, that's not bad. More dramatic than I would usually do, but not unbearable. And then actually, I think just to tone it down a little bit, I might do a gloss that is, and this is a great way to adjust your lip color, is just to put kind of a darker color gloss on it or some kind of different color gloss. So I'm just going to add a gloss in this situation that is more like orangey taupe. It's called Celestial Kiss. Put this gloss on. Yeah, see, my lips aren't terrible. I don't know why I had this thing forever. Okay, so I'm just going to take you guys with me over to the mirror where I have my new herb garden. I've been working on this herb garden for like 3 weeks and I'm so excited. I feel like, I don't know, it makes me so happy to see it up there. I recommend everyone just get a little basil or something. Just put a little something in your, I live in a condo. It's nice to just have something more nature. I'll show you guys before we go over there. These are all my planties that started with the basil. So I'm just coming over here to show you guys in the light. I'm not sure if it might take my camera a second to adjust. Oh, it's like really light. I look really scary. Let me see if I step away, if we can get like a real picture. Okay, yeah. So you can see, compared to where we started to now, I look like a completely different person. And I look hot compared. I'm not trying to be like, I'm just saying, compared to how I used to do my makeup and the dramatic change that this kind of stuff makes, it's just something every gal should have in her bag of tricks. And so for all my pretty broads, this is one way to get pretty broad. I don't know. This is Aunty Chardonnay. Considering getting a Chardonnay, in fact, and doing my hair. Is that weird? I haven't been drinking and it's like 1:30. That might be bad. Okay, anyways, love you bitches. I hope this helps. Please tell me what you would be interested in seeing or anything. I'm going to try to be better and more active on social media and be more of a participant in everyone's stuff. But I do promise if you ever email me anything or questions, I always will respond. It's AuntyChardonnay@prettyBroad.com. Be sure to check out our Twitter, our Instagram. I think everything. Twitter is Pretty Broad Show. Instagram is Pretty Broad. Check out our website, prettybroad.com. I'll put this in a vlog on our site. Okay? Love you, bitches.